Shalom, shalom. Satan just stopped my video. I have to redo my video again. Kal halalim la Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai Bahashem Rakakwadash. All praises, honor, glory, and blessings and power be to Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, elder bishops of Great Millstone. And shalom to the prophets of the body, and shalom to the 144,001 third. Okay. Now, I was watching a movie, okay, Shawshank Redemption, which I've seen a couple of times. I know you people have as well. And I try to analyze that movie spiritually. All right. The way I see it was Andy Dufresne could have been an Israelite foreigner, and Morgan Freeman was his best buddy in there, right? And Jake with the original look. And Andy Dufresne used a lot of, and he knew the Bible to a certain degree. He also said certain statements to Morgan about having hope, and hope is a good thing, and nothing ever good ever dies. That's Hebrews 11 verse 1. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, and the evidence of things not seen. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. Okay, and he also and Morgan also said in the movie, all it takes is pressure and time. Okay, so he went through his trials and tribulations while locked up. Then eventually he broke free after being in prison for 20 years. He kept chipping away and chipping away and chipping away and chipping away until he made a hole big enough to escape. The same way, all it takes is pressure and time. Our apostles and teachers have been teaching and teaching and teaching, okay, for the last 40 plus years. The men of Great Millstone, men of the Lord, and their teachers prior to them, okay, Elder Ariyah and High Priest Yaikwab and King Marsha, was King David in reincarnation. He'll have his position again in the kingdom, right? And the other elders, all right? So this truth has been going heavy after the 350-year period, okay? 3.5 days, as the scriptures say, which was 69 onwards, okay? And the prophets have been chipping away and chipping away and chipping away, and all it takes is pressure and time, and now we're at the tail end of this kingdom, and this kingdom is about to fall. So, pursuant to Revelation 12, verse 12, Revelation 12, verse 12, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Esau has a short time, all right? So they're doing everything what they can, okay? Because the suspect that allegedly shot these two Edomite-looking people, Esau, Edom, so-called white man, right? And they threw a female in that. Why? Just to erase the emotions of the so-called white man and their cohorts, so this race war can pop off. And also, Trump is saying that he's going to have more boots on the ground to get rid of all Afghanistani or illegal nationals. And a lot of this suspect, Raman Allah Lakanwa, who's an Afghanistani, he's a 29-year-old, worked for the CIA, all right, in Afghanistan, helped guard U.S. forces. I guess he turned, all right, or whatever the story is, how Bashir Mashar will play this out. Okay, I guess he turned against the government. So what Trump is going to do is put more boots in the ground to aim for anyone that looks brown, that is foreign looking, to get rid of so-called illegal immigration or even Afghanistani people. All right, put his foot down, and this is going to mean, and plus being in Washington D.C., the capital city, soldiers being shot. Okay, that means they're going to put more boots on the ground. So they're going to have guards actually guarding guards. They're going to be guarding each other. They're probably going to be in units of 6 or 7, spread out every half a mile or every quarter of a mile. I don't know how the Lord's going to do it. Okay, they could do that. Okay, so they're going to be looking for immigrants. Okay, and the same way when 9/11 popped off, right? You had a lot of dumb Edomites that don't know the difference between brown people. They were shooting Sikh men, okay, that are from northern India that aren't Afghanistani or Arabs, okay? They were shooting them simply because they're brown, they've got turbans on their head, mitris, and they've got long beards. They were shooting them. Mistaken identity. The same way, this pressure when this thing goes down, because the so-called white man will give his freedoms up as long as the foot of the government and the pressure is going on the neck of brown people, especially so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives that are Israelites and Israelite foreigners, but also anyone that's of color as well. Okay, because like as mentioned, that 9/11 situation, and also when this thing pops off, your regular Joe six pack crackers and your prepper crackers are gonna go after anyone. They're gonna implode amongst themselves, but they're gonna go after anybody that's brown because in their mind, their America is gone, their happy days are gone, Richie Cunningham days are gone. All them days are gone, and to gain that back, and they're going to blame somebody that their life isn't great anymore. Their optimism of the 80s is gone. They want to blame somebody, so they're going to blame everyone that's of color. You're the problem. Okay, they're going to use that as a scapegoat. Okay, not realizing that their own people are the problem. Okay, it's the so-called white man that's fucking the world up. Okay, not the black, Hispanic, or native. All right. Okay, it's actually the heathens all against us, pursuant to Psalms 83. Okay, but this pressure, Jacob's trouble is going to be everybody's trouble, but the prime target is your Israelites. But Jacob's trouble, pursuant to Jeremiah 30, verse 7, has already started, but it's going to amplify now. Okay, so as we're approaching the end, the Elon Musk's Neuralink's been successful. The RFID, CHIP, a lot of countries are adopting it. Sweden wasn't the only country, was not the country that country wasn't on lockdown during C19. So they've got like templates of countries that they want, other countries to follow suit. Okay, so they're going to organize a lot of things which will go towards the direction of the chip and World War III. Okay, they've already got the digital wallet, which is a prelude to the mark. They're going ahead with that, and then on top of that, cash is going to be a contraband in a short while. There's a lot of news about that. They're getting rid of large denomination of notes. They're saying that they're not gonna make no more. Was it 1 cent pieces or some kind of coin in America? We've had a lot of large denomination notes taken away from different parts of the world, including the UK too. So everything's going towards a mark. All right. So all this pressure and time and chipping away, we're seeing, the fall of this kingdom. We're chanting this kingdom down, just like our forefathers did in in the scriptures. Was that in Jericho where they chanted it down? So our elders and apostles and prophets are doing the same thing, and we're at the tail end of this. All right. Now, let's go to
Members of the DC National Guard were on high visibility patrols in the area of 17th and I Street Northwest when a suspect came around the corner, raised his arm with a firearm, and discharged it at the National Guard members.
It was about 2:15 p.m. I was in the Uber. I heard right in front of 17th Street. I heard boom, boom 2 times. And then the Uber driver said, "Why are all these people running?"
Members of the National Guard and the Department of War were brazenly attacked in a horrendous act of violence. They were shot. They're in critical condition. As you can see behind me, we have assembled the full force of both the federal and state and local law enforcement agencies. Since this is an assault on a federal law enforcement officer, this will be treated at the federal level as an assault on a federal law enforcement officer.
The National Guard members, there were other members that were in the area. They were able to, after some back and forth, able to subdue the individual and bring him into custody.
Okay. And there's a picture of the guy. Where is the picture of the guy? Okay, Raman. Okay, let's go here. Oh, that's what he looks like there. There's the guy. Okay, he helped guard U.S. forces at Kabul airport as thousands scrambled to escape Afghanistan before the Taliban took power. A former military commander who served alongside him has told the BBC. All right. We don't need to get too intricate, but we know which way it's going. All right. And a lot of Afghanistan, I mean, these guys are allies because the government had a program something allies or the people that were allies for the American government in Afghanistan were allowed to come to the Americas. Okay. Ephesians 5:15. Okay, for you elect, for you Israelites out there. Ephesians 5:15. See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise. Verse 16. Redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Okay, the days are evil, bad times. Okay, and Esau's got a short time, and they want to get down to business. They want to put this world on permanent lockdown, which they're not going to do. I mean, which they're not going to get to complete fruition. They're not going to get to that laying that final brick. It's not going to happen because the Lord's going to intervene. But the Lord Yahweh Shemeshai is speeding up the time for the elect's sake, and we can know that and feel it. And also at the same time, on the flip side, that short time, is also Esau's got that short time as well. But that's why they're scraping and scrambling to try and do what they've got to do. If you've noticed since October, Neuralink, digital wallet being pushed heavy, RFID chip being pushed heavy, talk of it being pushed heavy, the digital wallet being pushed heavy, okay? Soldiers being shot, pushed heavy, right? Okay? People, the jobs closing left, right, and center, the economy closing down. What do you think that's going to lead to? They want somebody, they're trying to push you into a corner so you rely on something. And that's going to be CHIP, Revelation 13:16. They want to put you on lockdown, but they also want to delete a lot of you too, according to the Georgia Guidestones. Okay, there's 9 billion people on the planet. They want to delete 8.5 billion of you. Revelation 12 verse 12. Okay, because they only want to look after 500 million or take care of 500 million, according to their Georgia Guidestones. All right, which they destroyed a short while back. Therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. They've got a short time now. All right, they don't have long left. Okay, these cities are going to be laid waste. All right, Ezekiel 12:20, and the cities that are inhabited shall be laid waste, and the land shall be desolate, and ye shall know that I am the Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Okay, so going to get gully out here. Going to get rough out here. All right. Second Ezra's 15:14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Verse 15. For the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight. Shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. All right. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Verse 17. All this presence everywhere, okay, is going to lead to martial law as well. Verse 17. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. You won't be able to go. All right. You won't be able to move freely like you used to. Okay. Gone are the days of looking like a hobo, walking around with a rucksack, thumbing rides and, living off a few dollars and sleeping here and sleeping there and sleeping rough, sleeping on a park bench. You can't do anything anymore. Even the homeless, when they set up tents, they're asked to move on. Where are they going to go? They're just playing musical chairs. There's nowhere to go. America's finished. The UK's finished. Esau, Edom, his kingdom is finished. All right? Okay, so one National Guard member was deleted, and the other was injured. And I said the White House as well. And it's happening on ground zero. It's happening within ground zero, which is America, but ground zero, which is Washington D.C. Which is a very evil place. So it's all going to start there and trickle down every state and part of America, man, with soldiers everywhere. Okay, so this spiritual alarm system is going off. It's for you hopeful elect members to take heed, and for you heathens to know what time it is and your outcome. All right? There's nothing good coming to you so-called white people. All right? It doesn't matter what you look like. If your father's a so-called black, Hispanic, or Native Indian, or Israelite foreigner, or either way, you don't know what your lineage is, but you are connected to this truth. You feel connected to it. You feel, a warmth from it. You feel peace from it, and you call on the name of Yahweh Bashim Yashai. That's Romans 8:16. The Spirit beareth witness. Right? You are an Israelite. But for the rest of you, natural Edomites, you heathens, which is mainly so-called white people, you Chinese, you East Indians, you Edomites, you Moabites, you Elamites, you Arabs, you Ishmaelites, you Ammonites, you Japanese, okay, and any other heathen nation I haven't mentioned, you're all going into slavery. All right, okay. So this is just going to lead. What's happening right now is going to lead to more freedoms being taken away and more of the world going on lockdown because Yahweh Shemeshai is destroying Esau Edom's world piece by piece. And you so-called white people are so dumb and gullible that you're giving up your freedoms as long as the foot of the government's a foot of the government is on the necks of the so-called black, Hispanic, and native, or anybody that looks like them. All right. We don't care about the heathen. Okay. They're our enemy too. But these Edomite heathens, for the most part, okay, right? If they lynched Italians Southern Italians when they came over at some point in America, okay, which were sort of borderline possible as so-called white people, what makes you think, okay, they're not gonna have mercy on somebody? Oh, you're not Latino, you're not so-called black, you know? Oh, I'm gonna let you go. The clan ain't gonna let you go. They're gonna lynch you. They don't like nobody of color. You think on their list is okay, yeah, we hate everybody of color except blacks, Hispanics, and natives. They hate everybody, but blacks, Hispanics, and natives are the core target. That's a spiritual hatred that Edomites have towards Jake. All right, Esau Edom was the first murderer. Didn't he murder his brother Abel? Cain murdered Abel, right? There you go. That hatred is there. One second, there's a commercial there. Actually, leave that. Let's go to this was an interesting. By the way, copyright fair use, fair deal. Okay, not making no money out of this. Look at the key words: act of hatred and terror, crime against our nation. Watch out for the statements. That terror always has to come in there. When that word terror is stated, a lot of people, especially the so-called white men, are willing to give up their liberties. So you're just going to give up more of your liberties. Okay? It's only a hellhole. The world is a hellhole because the so-called white man made it that way, by the way. Did they leave anybody alone? remember one more thing as well. The world is a stage. There's a lot of actors and actresses in place. Okay, this motherfucker here on the screen could be an actor. But either way is all Yahweh Bashem Yashai, pursuant to Isaiah 45 verse 7 in the book of Proverbs. Man's goings are of the Lord. The Lord controls every aspect of life, whether it's acted out or literally so-called real. It's all pushing a specific agenda, which is the demise of this world that the so-called white man knew in his heyday. That's all gone. It's not going to come back. So we're coming to the point where these motherfuckers are going to go crazy. Maybe this could also push army army or more pressure towards the east as well. More. You know, I'm not so geopolitically savvy, but I know on a basic level, this could possibly push towards where soldier presence is also pushed in that area of Afghanistan, which is in the sort of borderline or the similar area to the valley of Yehoshaphat or Jehoshaphat or the so-called Middle East, right? Another reason to go there. Okay, we'll see how things unfold. Basically, Ishmaelite versions of house ninjas. You know, they were doing what Master told them so they could get a safe haven in America. Or be left alone. They were against their own people. Talking about Biden there. That disastrous president comment was he's talking about Biden there. So basically, anyone that was an ally that's not so-called American or Edomite, okay, which is basically pretty much the whole world, that was some kind of ally to America, they're going to be under scrutiny. So all the 200,000 so-called Afghanistanis that came over this allied thing, coming on the planes for the safe haven in America, they're going to be under scrutiny. So anyone that's Afghanistani is going to be, because they're going to go to war with the so-called Middle East, right? So maybe they're trying to get rid of all the Muslims out of the country, okay? Because the so-called Middle East is predominantly Muslim. Yes, there's Christians there in the Middle East, Yes, there's Christians there with Arab names and Muslim names that are actually Christian, but they just got Arab names. Okay, but the majority is Islam. Okay, that's why they're pushing that divide against Islam so heavy. Islam is a problem here in the UK. Okay, America, they're pushing that divide. So the anger can be all pointed and relayed to where the so-called Middle East when things actually go down. And this will push a lot of so-called patriots, whereas the UK or America, to join the army when that time comes as well, because they're going to look for bodies to join uh, the war effort, whatever, right? Okay, now listen to the last part. Listen to this part. Removal of any alien from any country. The focus was Afghanistan. And I've told you, he said any alien from any country. So basically, anybody. But yeah, but what about the South Africans? You brought them in. They're so called white, but they can blend in. But you can tell by looking at them and their crazy accents that yeah, these people are not so called American. So basically, they're just going to go for the people of color, really. Okay, any alien from any country. Okay, and this pressure is going to go on more of the Northern Kingdom again as well, because Northern Kingdom can some of them can pass for Arabs. East Indians can pass for Arabs, whatever. We don't care about the dot heads though, but I'm just saying for Jake, they're going to come for Jake that even look like Arabs. If you look like a so-called Dominican, you with the curly hair and the brown skin, you got a bit of a beard, because Jake is everyone's rocking the full beard these days. They're going to think that you're a Muslim. They're going to grab you saying that your name is Ahmed Mulani or some shit. He's pretending to be Latino. They're going to ship you off. You know. And now this is ultimately going to lead towards just civil war, man. All right, because there's only so many times and so many times that you're gonna these pictures of meat trees and beards and brown skin and hatred towards Jakes with crazy dreads and grinning gold teeth or whatever, or some Latino stabbing up, or joking some woman or whatever. They're gonna keep showing that whether it's AI or real. They're gonna keep showing on the camera, and the hatred is gonna keep being drummed up and drummed up and drummed up until that war pops off. Civil war, right? All right. So this is going to lead, to further lockdowns, further freedoms being taken away. All right. And at some point, that civil war will pop off to the point where you've got to run for cover, literal cover, walking on the streets with your dog, going for a walk, walking the streets to the shops, because the shops won't be open. They'll be boarded up too. All that will be out of the way. The streets will be quiet, and you'll have to maneuver very strategically as a group to get from one place to the next, like them zombie movies. It's going to come to that level. All right. All right, so I'm going to leave it there now. All praises, honor, glory, and blessings be to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. And remember one thing, all it takes is pressure and time. Pressure and time. Okay? And that time is coming. Okay? Our apostles, through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, have been preaching and preaching and preaching and preaching and spiritually punching the hell out of Esau's kingdom. And now through pressure and time and chipping away, we are seeing this kingdom fall through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai. And he used his men to sort of be his voice on this earth. Okay? And all it takes is pressure and time. All right? Some birds are just not meant to be caged, and Jake is not meant to be caged. No bird should be caged for that matter, but I'm just saying Jake is not meant to be caged. All right? Well, the elect anyway. All right? And those cage doors are flung open now, man. We're going home soon. We're at the tail end. All right? All right, I'm going to leave it there now. All praises, honor, glory, and blessings and power be unto Abba Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash, Moath Abad Babal, Kwam Yashra, Shalom.